Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my...
coming to an end. So we will talk about all that stuff, Sammy. Before we get into the next subject, guys, again, I'm going to reiterate that it is a subject that deals with very sensitive subject. So I'm going to give a trigger warning to those of you who may have been affected by sexual assault in some sort of way. And if you feel the need that you might need to walk away from the screen, or you don't want your children submitted to the content that we're talking about, I'm just giving you a warning. That's what we're getting into on the first subject of things, which we now got some answers, Sammy. And it's unfortunate, but basically all the leads that we had were indicating that those players that we mentioned, and I'm going to get into them a little bit once I set up my banners here. There we go. The players that we mentioned last week, and we were kind of pinpointing Michael McLeod, Cal Foote, Dylan Dubé, Alex Fermenton, and who else did I miss here? Oh, and Carter Hart, yeah. They have been officially charged in the sexual assault of a young girl back in 2018 after following a Team Canada event back in June of that year. It is now official. McLeod, however, does have 2 charges in relation to this, as he faces a second charge of being a party to the sexual assault. And I didn't really, I watched the whole police conference, and I didn't really understand. And they didn't really give much information, obviously, because it is it's an ongoing case, and they can't do anything to scrutinize the case. I get that. But holy hell, Sam, I don't know if you've watched it, but they were hounding the police of London for how long it took. Why is it being reopened again? What new evidence? And it was almost like they were forgetting about the players' actions. It was like, why did they do what they did? I don't know if you watched it. What was your take on it? Did you watch it?
I watched clips of it. I haven't sat down to watch the whole thing yet. I just haven't found the time to watch the whole thing. But yeah, just from what I got, like you said, it was a lot of them almost placing blame on themselves and apologizing for having this investigation taken so long and for having it been kind of thrown out to begin with. And then now being opened up 5 years later, almost 6 years later, I guess. It just, yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, and it's a touchy thing. I've struggled to put into words about my whole thoughts around this whole thing, especially pertaining to the press conference. Because, like you said, they didn't put a whole lot of information out there during that, right? Like, they didn't necessarily clear up a whole lot of stuff other than, for sure, hey, these are the 5 guys. But they didn't really give a lot other than that. And like you said, it's an ongoing investigation, and so they're still putting pieces together, still figuring things out, and so they can't really necessarily give too much. I'm sure whenever this case is completely shut, closed, and done, that we'll have more details, we'll have the whole story. But as of right now, we just know who did it, and that's about it.
Yeah, and I don't know what the name of it. I don't have the name of the chief of police here. But he did say that when the time is right, he's going to reveal more. So let's hope that we can bank it on that. It's unfortunate because, I remember me as a child growing up with Wayne Gretzky, Glenn Anderson, Grant Fuhr, Mark Messier. Those guys were heroes to me as a child, right? There's 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds right now that look up to Carter Hart think he's the most amazing human being. Dylan, maybe, I don't know so much about Dylan Dubé. I mean, yeah, he's a professional athlete, but Carter Hart, out of all of them, is probably the most successful. And I guarantee you there's tons of kids that want to be that goaltender of Carter Hart. And this sends out such a shitty message, man. Like, and yes, they look, I don't even want to say they were young and made this mistake. I mean, they were young men at this point in time. They knew better. Right? So, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I've told the guys at work, these are players that were given the kingdom or the keys to the kingdom, and they've just pissed it away. Because they're not going to be re-signed or anything like that. Just, even if, honestly, I don't think they'll be even re-signed for the fact that they were in association to this. If they get cleared of all these charges, unless they, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But just the fact that they are associated to this may tamper their chances of getting signed again. Maybe Edmonton will sign them. It seems like Edmonton signs all day. I'm not going to go there, though. I'm not going to go there. Because when the guys that we did sign weren't to that extreme, first of all. Like, I don't think Evander Kane was ever to that level. And nor was Corey Perry. So anyway. Yeah, so this is a wrap. All those guys that we were kind of hoeing and humming and talking about last week, and we knew it last week, but we can't present ourselves like we know it because we didn't really know it. It wasn't 100% sure, but everything was leading up to like those 5 players were the guys that constituted this criminal act.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I guess we'll stop about talking about that, but yeah, we'll see what happens in the months and possibly years to come that comes out of this potential trial. Hey guys, it's Gene here. If you like the content you just witnessed on this channel, be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I may be an old timer, but I've been through the trenches of the Edmonton Oilers since their inception back in 1979. I witnessed the glory years, went through the decade of darkness, and now the McDavid era. And if you're just an NHL fan, join Sammy and myself every second week on NHL Aftermath. Chime in, we'll answer your questions.